Hey everybody, welcome back to Feedback Loop. I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Joey.
And I almost forgot how we do the introduction to the show.
Oh my
But
god.
I did it. I guess just letting the body take over, autopilot. We've been doing this for a while. So it all worked out. This week we listened to Babymetal's first album, self-titled Babymetal, because I didn't know where to go after last week. And neither does this album, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy this album. It is a super entertaining album, but we'll get to that. The whys of what I've just said. But yeah, we're just gonna fucking get right into it. I guess unless you have any other comments.
No, just the first track's called Babymetal Death.
Expert segues.
I wanted to.
This is gonna be a hard one to segue through.
Yeah, like I wanted to start it off with low expectations because neither of us speak Japanese, and there's some we can't.
Speak for yourself. That. I'm fluent.
Are you?
Are you really in Japanese?
Do this whole discussion in Japanese then.
No. Track number 1, Babymetal Death. How did this land with you?
Okay, I didn't know what to expect. I've only seen like minor clips of Babymetal. Like I know the quote unquote gimmick and all. Like I've just seen that like on like Pitchfork's top 10 weirdest metal bands, like stuff like that.
The publicity of it.
Yeah, exactly. But like, and I kind of wasn't expecting like actual metal,
and
I was pleasantly surprised that it's metal. Like it's just death metal, and like they start off with like a choral arrangement to build up like the epic suspense, like you'd hear in like a melodic death metal type deal, and then it just kicks you right in the fucking gut with these heavy septuplet chugs, and it totally reminds me of like Death Clock at the beginning. But and that's a like you're gonna hear that at least 2 more times. But I fucking love Death Clock, so
yeah, we're both go watch Metalocalypse.
Yeah,
there it is this week. It's
weekly Metalocalypse.
Not a sponsor yet.
Yeah, or ever probably. But I don't know if the drum is like if it's a track or like a machine or something or an actual person. But I totally dig the drums, like the speed, the ferocity of it. It's great, and the riffage, man.
There's a lot of riffage.
There's a shit ton of riffage, and it's something that I take for granted because of just listening to so much metal and now not listening to any. It's like, I don't know. They're very distinct, I guess. Like a lot of the riffs, the melodies, and everything got stuck in my head. They make catchy metal.
Yeah, it's kind of like I think Wikipedia calls it like the Japanese idol and death metal fusion kind of genre thing, which they kind of created this weird genre that is called kawaii metal at this point, where it's kind of balancing the kind of poppier sweet girl vocals with death metal music. It's similar in my mind to what Poppy did on her I Disagree album.
Yeah,
that was one of the first albums we talked about. And I've always kind of overlapped them stylistically. Obviously, there's a huge difference, like in a lot of aspects, but it's kind of the same ballpark for a lot of this. Obviously, this is also a bit heavier and less like industrial in ways. But yeah, like you said, it's got a lot of energy. It's got a lot of chugging guitars and stuff. And it's a fun little intro track called Babymetal Death. The band is Babymetal. So it's kind of just like, hey, this is us, and this is what we do. This is what we are. As far as the drums go, I'm pretty sure it's a live drummer for most of it. They do use drum machines throughout the album, but I think for most of the metal stuff, they have actual drummers. The band itself doesn't really exist. The band Babymetal, I guess, to back up outside of just the song and album. Babymetal's 3 sisters. It's Sue Metal, Moa Metal, and Yui Metal. Are their stage names or whatever. And then they have I'm assuming rotating roster for their backing band, who's just like all session guys, essentially, for the actual band. So I'm pretty sure that they use real drums, but the drummer isn't consistent, probably. And a lot of the other musicians might not be as well.
Well, props to drummer guy then. whoever
Yeah,
you are.
drum man.
I tried to look up like a list, and there was just so many people that worked on this fucking album, and
Yeah,
all of their names ended in metal. It was like it followed
yeah,
like the
it's the
Sue metal,
theme. Yeah,
but and I was like, even the session musicians
yeah.
get the metal moniker.
they,
Like
they get
that's cool.
cool ass nicknames because it's Babymetal. But yeah, it's a cool intro track to the band. I mean, even lyrically, it's pretty light on actual lyrical content in this,
Hmm.
which I mean, kind of hit and miss throughout this whole album, I think. But I learned while doing research that this song is just kind of a pun on the Japanese sounds for death and desu, which basically they're saying baby metal death and like Sue metal death, but they're just introducing themselves as well, saying like, "Hey, I'm Sue metal," and "Hey, I'm Moa metal," and we're baby metal. But it's kind of just a fun like play on the sounds of Japanese words, which happens a couple times throughout the album.
Yeah, it does. I was actually surprised by one of them because I actually got it, even though I don't speak Japanese.
Oh, which
Yeah,
one is that? Are you gonna mention it later?
I'll mention it, but I can tell you
Okay.
what, it's not track number 2, Megitsune.
Expertly segued. The English translation for Megitsune is fox, or female foxes specifically,
See,
because
I knew like the Sune part had something to do with like a fox or like a fox like creature,
yeah, because like
but
kitsune is a
yeah,
big thing, and it's
and
like
they say that a ton. Like I
yeah,
get that if they say that in here, I'm like, oh, that means fox.
right. So
I know
I
it.
think if I remember correctly, Megitsune is just like the female variant of it.
Well, pretty cool. This one, it gets right into the metal, and they have like some super cool Eastern string. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah,
Like I originally was going to write down shamisen, but I know that's not right.
yeah. I wrote Eastern string shamisen type instrument.
I know it's not right, but that's all I fucking know.
Yeah,
And I couldn't like it. This is where I started looking on like Wikipedia and like stuff trying to find people who worked on the album because I was like, can
right.
somebody tell me what this instrument is? Because I don't know. Like, I mean, you hear it and you're like, yeah, that sounds Japanese. Like
Yeah.
that's a cool sound. But this one, it like brings in. It's. I feel like it starts bringing in the electronic elements into it to
Yes.
add like a cooler kind of a power death metal type feel, or like not industrial, but
Right. I absolutely love that kind of aesthetic musically. Like, I mean, Static X is. I don't
yeah,
know if I'd say they're one of my favorite bands, but they do that same sound very well, and I really love a lot of Static X's music. So very big hit for me having this kind of balance of like the death metal and bringing in a lot of like synth melodies and stuff to kind of ride along with the chugging guitars, and it flows really great.
yeah, it does. And I actually think that a clip of this song is like what I've heard by them before in those list videos or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
I think this is one of the, if not their big like lead single for this album. I don't know how like singles work internationally, I suppose. So I don't know if it was like a big single over here only, or if it was a Japanese single, or what the situation is. But I think I read somewhere that this is one of the lead singles, so it makes sense that you've seen it. Also, there's this crazy like breakdown in this song. It's like some fucking pig squealing and stuff.
okay,
It's nasty heavy, and then like Sue Metal comes in. Sue Metal is most of the vocals on the album. She's the oldest of the three, and she does a lot of most of the music and the singing, I think, in the album. But yeah, it's a nice like counter of like pig squealing, whining noises, and Sue Metal just kind of distantly in the background, kind of singing melodies.
so I'm assuming it is not the Yui metal, Su metal, and Mo metal at all doing the growls or the death metal like vocals. I'm
That
ass-
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that. That was always my impression too. But today in my research, I think it was on Wikipedia, so might not be true, and it may have just been a misunderstanding from what I was reading. But what I read implied that it's actually Yui Metal that's doing some of the like screaming. I don't know how much of the screaming or the growling and stuff is her. There's no way it's this like
yeah.
13-year-old Japanese girl doing this,
I
right?
mean, like I know it's not really a comparison, but like I don't know her name, but the lead singer for Ginger, like
Yeah, Tatiana Schumacher.
she can do some crazy
Oh,
shit
for
that
sure. But she's also a fully grown woman and not a 12-year-old
yeah,
Japanese schoolgirl.
but like I don't, maybe like that was like, I don't know, like she trained for a shit ton of time or something. Like
Yeah.
like that to me didn't seem possible. So
Yeah, it doesn't seem likely,
yeah, so
at the
like
very
this,
least.
having heard Ginger, I'm like, I don't know, anything's fucking possible, dude. Like,
Yeah, it could be. I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure they have other guys doing a lot of the growling on this album, which is, there's a fair amount of growling throughout a
yeah,
lot of the album. So props to you, Yui, if it is you. I don't know, but I feel like it can't be.
yeah. Like, there's no way it could be like a preteen child.
Yeah, because at this time, like, I'm pretty sure Sue Metal, who's the oldest one, was like 16, 15 years old. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a song on the album talking about I
being
think it's her
15.
being 15,
Yeah,
but I think maybe when the album released it was a little different, but still, if Sue Metal was like 15, 16, Yui and Moa I think are a few years behind her. So like yeah, like early teen, preteen girl doing this kind of shit. It's possible, but it doesn't seem likely to me.
yeah. But you know, who knows? Like, maybe we'll find out one day. Maybe we'll get to meet them. But by the time they'll be like fucking 30, and we'll be
Yeah.
40 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really know their relative age to us either, but lyrically, I kind of like really like the song. I never looked in the lyrics. Surprise for this album beforehand, but I feel like this is a good introduction to them as people. Whereas
Mhm.
like Babymetal was a pretty good musical intro to the album. Granted, it didn't have some of the electro elements that are scattered throughout, but this one seems like kind of talking shit about the traditional role of women in Japan and in society in general and stuff, and how they're viewed as like actresses or foxes that are just like clever and always hiding their true intentions and kind of things to appear idealized. But she's also saying like, no, fuck that. We're gonna do what we want. We're gonna be badass rock and roll metal chicks, and you shouldn't take us for granted, kind of a thing. And to accent that, I really like towards the end of the song. I think before the last chorus, the music drops out. And they do this a couple times throughout the album, but like the music drops out and it's just the vocals, and she says something in Japanese that is that's translated as saying that like women shouldn't be underestimated, and then it goes into the final chorus. It's just like it's a fun little musical flair, and to accent that like don't fucking underestimate me just because I'm a woman, kind of a thing.
And I'm fucking 16 singing
Yeah.
badass metal.
Which is insane. Like fucking 12 years ago I would not be doing that. I obviously wasn't doing that, and to think that there are girls in Japan that are doing that just makes me feel a little bit bad about myself, but it's awesome.
12 years ago, I was listening to Death Clock in a back room in my basement, trying to like do the death growl type, like Nathan
Yeah.
Explosion type stuff. And I remember my dad walking in and being like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, he just saw his son with headphones in, so he wasn't hearing the music,
Yeah.
just going, "Oh."
I love that. That's a
And
great image in my mind.
oh my god, it was so I got a little bit of a different, I mean, it's still in the same general ballpark,
Yeah,
but like,
I guess as a side note, like all of the most of the vocals are in Japanese, so we're looking at translated lyrics and kind of even from the translated lyrics, we're kind of having to piece together things.
and in so many things get lost in translation,
Yeah, for
especially
sure.
between like Japanese and English. I feel like there's so much like twists of phrase and stuff there that
Right.
like,
Idioms and stuff that don't really
yeah.
translate.
I kind of got that like the Fox comparison to women was not necessarily that I guess people viewed them as like hiding their true intentions, or like, but that they were forced to hide who they really were due to the like outward, I guess, standards of society. So they had to
Right.
kind of keep like, they're in their, they're in a, they're in baby metal. They're out there doing like rocking their shit, but like most, they're the ones saying like, no, we shouldn't have to hide behind a disguise or something. We shouldn't have to sneak around like a fox and be clever or whatever, like hide who we are, I guess.
Yeah, I can see that. The fox motif is something that I think it's big in Japanese culture in general, but it pops up a couple times throughout this album, so like that it totally makes sense, I think.
But I don't know. All I know is I want chocolate. So Jeremy, give me chocolate, man.
No, I will give you my thoughts on track number 3. Give me chocolate.
This fucking song,
okay,
dude.
Okay. Before we even go into this, I feel like I wrote in my notes before even listening to the song for the sake of this podcast. I have a love-hate relationship with the song.
Oh.
I feel like, and this is totally just my perspective, and I could be completely wrong. I feel like this was like the big single that everyone that like hears about Babymetal hears, and like this is what they think. Like, oh, Babymetal, they're that Gimme Chocolate band. They sing. They're a bunch of quirky Japanese schoolgirls singing about chocolate, and I feel like that's unfair.
Yeah.
Because this album is wild for one, and it's and the progression throughout their discography paints an entirely different picture. And even on this album, like it's more than that. But I feel like this is kind of like it's Babymetal's gimmick. They're the Gimme Chocolate band. That's okay. And especially it doesn't help, I guess, that like I have it on Rock Band, and every time we play Rock Band, I have Rock Band parties at my house every now and then. Less so since the pandemic, but we're getting back in there. But it seems to come up fairly often with someone like singing it as a gag kind of thing. But like I don't know, I'm offended for them at the perception that I have that other people have for this song, I guess.
I could see that, considering, like, I don't know, before I try to be open and everything, and before listening to them, my only knowledge of them was the gimmick, whatever. Like, that's all I knew them as. And so, I mean, I could see this from the outside looking in, and my thoughts definitely changed a lot as this album went on. Like, I mean, they were pretty much shattered immediately whenever I heard the music.
It's actually metal,
yeah. But this song, taking out from it, potentially reinforcing that they're just a gimmick band instead of a real band.
Yeah,
I fucking love the the actual song of this song.
Yeah,
and the opening guitar part, I was getting very Deathclock vibes, specifically Hatred Copter. Like, the like it hit me.
Polymeters.
Yeah,
polyrhythms. Yes.
But oh my god, like I couldn't, like, so it starts, it's heavy, it's great, it's got this nice Deathclock feel that I'm digging, and then the fucking chorus hits. And I was not expecting it at all. Like, the catchiness of this fucking chorus, it is in my head right now, and it has not left since I heard it the first time. It is
an extremely catchy song, and that's maybe that's why I think that might be why I have such a like sour reaction to the song, is because like it is super fucking catchy, and it is something that would be stuck in people's head, and that the height of this chorus being that catchy, I feel like might lead someone to believe that it's like, oh, it's just a gimmick, and it's like they're not a serious band. Granted, this album is not serious. This album is kind of a joke, I suppose, in many ways, but not in like, it doesn't take itself seriously, I suppose, is the best way. It's a very lighthearted, like they're just playing around, they're having fun kind of a thing. It's not supposed to be taken as like a super serious death metal album.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like a lot of it is, I mean, I'm sure they didn't write all of the lyrics and that ended up on the final cut of the album. I'm sure they had people writing, like maybe they were like, I want to write a song about this, and handed in some lyrics that they wrote, and people like extrapolated on that.
For sure.
But I mean, it holds true to some songs that would be like this one, Give Me Chocolate. It's just, I mean, they're fucking 12, 14, 16, whatever.
Yeah.
You're a kid. You're writing, you're like, exactly. I want fucking chocolate, dude. Like, I'm gonna write a sick ass song with an awesome vocody baba solo in the middle that just blows people's minds, and it's going to be about wanting chocolate.
It's going to be catchy as hell.
I mean, it's not only about wanting chocolate. I think it also like plays, and this is where I think that there's people like ghostwriting something like I'm sure they feel these issues, but like I feel like at its core it was originally a song about wanting chocolate, and it also has the a deeper layer of like speaking to women who feel they need to deeply scrutinize everything that they eat or put in their body due to societal beauty and weight standards. Like they're saying, I just want this sweet thing. I just want it, but
I can't have it because then I'll be fat, and if I'm fat, then I'm not attractive, and if I'm not attractive, then I'll not find a husband, and then if I don't have a husband, then what am I?
A spinster with a bunch of cats, apparently.
Yeah, I'm torn on this album. Even like reading the lyrics, that like half of me wants to say no, it's just a fun album about like take it as it is on the surface level, and that's that, and it's okay. It doesn't have to be a serious album. It doesn't have to have any like societal implications, but there are definitely parts throughout this album that it feels like there is more to it. So it's kind of, I think you're probably right on the having like a writing team or having people that are editing it to make it something more deep than maybe initially anticipated. And I don't know, make of the lyrics what you want. It can be as deep as you want. I feel like some of the lyrics might be stretched thin. Even I, at points in my notes, I think started like explicitly saying like this might be a stretch, or this could be like me reading too much into it, kind of a thing. But the fact that I was able to read that much into it kind of implies that there is something to it. I don't know. I go back and forth because it is on the surface a very like just fun, happy album about random shit that teenage girls are going through and experiencing and wanting and stuff. So,
but I mean, metal doesn't have that, so new perspectives.
It's true. It's true, and clearly it's working. Like it's super catchy, and they're a fucking huge band. They have 3 albums now, and their stage production is fucking insane.
Yeah, it's really cool. I've seen like pictures and shit of some of their concerts, and it's insanity.
It is really cool. And they have like they fucking like tell stories. Like they have like a storyline going on through all of their like live shows. Like each of their tours continues the story from the last tour, kind of a thing. And it's insane the amount of production that they have going on outside of the music itself. But track number 4
line
is it's Ilne.
Oh,
Inye. I don't know how it's actually pronounced. It's ILNE.
Oh,
not LINE.
Are you sure?
I think.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure, because the second letter is capitalized, not on the spreadsheet that we're looking at that has the lyrics, but it's a capital.
Spotify has line. I was gonna make a segue,
but it's a capital I. It's not an L, I don't think.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Because Spotify has line.
Well,
and I was gonna make a great segue about me forgetting something, and I was gonna ask you like an actor line.
I'm pretty sure it's IINE because it means so good.
Well,
in English is the English translation.
Babymetal, if you're listening.
Ine. So maybe it's not IL, it's just IINE. It's Ine.
And Spotify's probably wrong, honestly. Like,
I mean, a lowercase L, capital I. It doesn't matter.
Well, it's an uppercase L, followed by a lowercase I on Spotify. Yeah.
Well, it's definitely not that in anything else that I've seen.
Well, fuck you, Spotify. You stupid asshole.
I don't know, man. Anyways, track number 4. We'll call it So Good, because that's what I've seen that the translation is for it. This one, like, it hits hard on the DDR vibes for me.
Yeah.
Like, it keeps the chuggy guitars, but there's a lot more electro to it. There's a lot more of that kind of Eastern, like, electronic dance music kind of thing going, which is fucking great. I would definitely believe it if someone like played this for me before I had heard the album. I was like, yeah, this is from a DVR cabinet that I was playing in fucking arcade or something. But it's fucking insane. It's a lot of like hyper dance pop stuff, and then there's this weird like Western pop club trap breakdown thing in the middle with big 808s and synths, and it catches you so fucking off guard. And that's what I love about this album. It's so like entertaining, even if you don't take it as a serious death metal album. There's a lot of shit like this in it where it just changes genres briefly and catches you completely off guard just for the fun of it. Like they're clearly just doing it to fuck with people, and they do it well, and it comes out of the blue, and they're having this little like rap section in the middle of this heavy metal breakdown, and then there's a fucking drop immediately after it that is just so fucking heavy, and it's beautiful. Just the arrangement of the song, I love it.
Yeah, this is where it really like I just couldn't pin this album down because like it got the DDR vibes. So like it just felt like a mashup of like a 2000s like Euro dance song with death metal with like a literal child just talking like because I whoever's the youngest, I think they got some lyric time on this one. And there it sounds like it could be an anime intro, but then there's like the fucking trap vibe that comes out of nowhere, and like it is not what I was expecting, and it's better than I was expecting.
Yeah, it's wild, and that's really that's why I picked this album, or why this album was on the list to begin with, is because like I don't know, this album is, for me, I will always say that this is a very entertaining album, even if I wouldn't call it like a quote unquote good album.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that with the best of intent because their later albums do become quote unquote good albums in their own right. But this is just a very like fun, like I don't know, it's a not a joke as in it's bad music, but they do a lot of like weird shit just to fuck with the audience, and it works, and I enjoy being caught off guard like that, and in something that is already so like interesting to me, having a lot of like death metal and electro and stuff, and then it comes in and it's just like, no, we're trapped now, and then it goes right back with this heavy ass fucking drop. I don't know, I love being knocked around by this album, I think.
Yeah, I mean, personally, and this isn't true of like a lot of the metal I currently listen to, but if I try to go back and listen to like older metal that I used to find really cool and interesting, it gets boring because it's very one note.
Yeah.
And not saying that every album has to be just fucking nuts off the wall, changing genres mid song like this is, but it's it's a breath of fresh air to have variety. Like to have genres in an album as a texture that fit and work with whatever they're trying to go to, not just chugging along in one genre because like that's the genre that we are, right. I guess.
Yeah, and granted, again, they have a huge production team. I don't want to give too much or too little credit to the three girls themselves, but Babymetal as a team, I suppose, they're definitely blending a lot of genres and kind of having fun with it, which is what music's about, man. Making music should be fun.
Yeah.
And listening to music should be fun, and listening to this album is definitely fun.
You know what wasn't fun? Finding out that Genius did not have Japanese translations for this song, and then having to like, I did Google Translate to the Japanese lyrics that were on Genius, and they made absolutely no sense. Luckily, the fans are strong for this band because, of course, it's a fucking J-pop metal band. Like, there's gonna be strong fans. They did their best job to translate all the lyrics, and after reading that, I think it's about like escaping reality into kind of the nightlife, or going out on the town, doing fun stuff, going to like the arcades and shit. I don't know, like that's kind of what I got about it, like getting out of your head, out of your normal life, and going out to have fun.
You're like a 15-year-old girl. It's Friday night, going out and hanging out with your friends.
It's Friday night.
Yeah, it's a party here on the West Side. Whatever that song says. But yeah, I agree. I think it's just kind of like a casual, like just going out and having fun. Maybe going to a metal concert and moshing your heart out, because there's like a weird metal breakdown and everything, and it feels very much like they would be at like a concert or something. Also, side note, according to the fan translation that we were looking at, during that breakdown, she says to put your fox sign up, and the guy that growls after it comes in, he says it's not a sign of the horns, but a fox sign. So I'm wondering if they mean like the devil horns, like putting up your horns like at a metal concert kind of a thing, and they're trying to say like, no, like don't do that, but make a fox sign, which I'm assuming is something similar, maybe like pinching your fingers instead of like tucking them or something.
That's what I'm trying to make a fox with my hands while still doing like the horns right now.
Yeah.
And I can't.
Yeah, you get some weird goat looking thing maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to say, but last I heard, the origin of the devil horns was Ronnie James Dio's grandmother.
Yep.
And it was not a fox.
It was not a
Not
fox.
intended as a fox.
And it was more like, I think, because I remember hearing the video of like him describing it, and it was like you're supposed to like put your hands out with the horns and like look between your fingers and like visualize like
doing the Dio thing.
Yeah. God, Dio, man.
Rest in peace, man.
Yeah.
Next
track
song.
5. Yeah, track 5. Akatsuki.
Akatsuki, which means Crimson Moon or Red Moon or something like that. Some dark thing. This one starts with some very vibey ass, clean, echoey guitar.
Hell yeah.
Instead of the chugging metal that we're kind of used to. A piano comes in and Sue's vocals come in, and it feels very anime, which obviously is kind of a blanket statement that can be applied to this because we're Americans listening to Japanese power metal stuff. But it feels very much like an anime intro kind of a thing. And as she finishes the first verse, then the guitars come in, and it's just like this epic power metal ballad kind of thing going on. The pianos, the synths, the guitars, everything just kind of runs wild in these big sweeping sections. And then the guitars in the verses sound cool as shit. There's a dual guitar solo that comes in. There are a lot of solos on this album.
A shit ton. And they're all really
so
good.
Cool. Yeah. It's a lot of they're clearly just like having fun with it, and I think they have layers of guitars soloing over each other and stuff, so it's kind of this dual kind of thing going on. Overall, this one feels a lot more like melodic than prior tracks, and it focuses less on the heavy chugging and more on just the kind of the wild melodies.
I'm going to go ahead and put this out there, just a disclaimer. I have almost no experience watching anime, so just know that whenever I compare any of this to anime music, I have no fucking idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've watched Cowboy Bebop and Dragon Ball Z, and that's about it.
I think I watched Sailor Moon when I was younger.
Oh, that's true. I did also watch Sailor Moon when I was younger, but I don't remember anything about that show.
And Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, but Yu-Gi-Oh almost doesn't count because of the censorship and the American bullshit that got put into it whenever it got brought over here. I never watched.
It sounds like you have a soapbox to stand on for that.
I do. Like, what the fuck was up with all of the Yu-Gi-Oh card censorship? And the Shadow Realm wasn't even a fucking thing. People just died, and American translators were like, no, kids can't see people die. We gotta send them to the fucking Shadow Realm. Like, what? And the finger guns, there were real guns in the Japanese version, but they just did finger guns because they're like, kids can't see guns. Even though Cowboys is like the thing that kids like to play. I don't know.
I've not seen Yu-Gi-Oh or the Pokemon anime, and I'm out of the loop on all of that. So
yeah. Yu-Gi-Oh got censored more than it got censored more than Pokemon. Just throwing that out there.
Anyways, back to this album. Yeah, it's just cool melodic metal stuff. It's good. It's cool shit. Lyrically, this one to me came off as like a kind of poetic song about heartbreak.
Mm-hmm.
And she uses a lot of like poetic imagery, I think, to describe things, or maybe it's just the weird translations from Japanese to English or whatever. But she like talks about like two damaged blades that are loneliness and uneasiness standing face to face and slashing at our hearts. And she's just kind of like talking about like feeling alone and feeling like she's not in love, or that she should be in love or something, but until she dies, she's not going to give up. She's going to keep on like trying to find love or trying to love others until she finds the one. Maybe
that's a very good message. Keep fighting for love. It's
a very anime message, isn't it?
Yeah. I didn't want to say it, but also like, I don't know, this is one song where I was like reading the lyrics, the translation, and I could see a 16-year-old writing a poem like this after like maybe getting like falling out of love or something with whoever they're currently seeing, whoever they're courting at the moment, and being like, right, like, I don't know, I feel like I could open up a 16-year-old's journal and find a poem that is kind of like this. But this song, it reminded me of like some crazy symphonic metal with all of the heavy guitar and synths, like Dream Theater or something, which I like this a lot more than I like Dream Theater. I'm not a huge fan of Dream
Shots
Theater.
fired.
But the Babymetal does Dream Theater better than Dream Theater does.
I don't disagree. I'm not a big fan of Dream Theater either, but it's a hot take to put out on the internet.
Boom, 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 boom.
We are nothing if not hot takes, though.
Yeah. And also, we're moving on to track 6 before pitchforks start flying through my window.
Man, I'm trying to like give you air in case you want to segue into things, but it's just not happening. Doki Doki Morning.
So Doki, like the only thing I know that of Doki Doki is like Doki Doki Panic, the game, or Doki Doki Literature Club, and I don't like. Maybe if I'm playing one of those games in the morning, it's a Doki Doki Morning, but there's also a star in between Doki Doki Morning.
It's a thematic star too, because this one, there's also a track later in the album called Ukiyouki Midnight that also has a star, but the star's filled in on that one, whereas Doki Doki Morning, it's not, which is obviously supposed to be like, it's the sun, like it's early in the day because it's the morning, and then at midnight it's filled in, like it's dark, like it's the moon, and it's I don't know. It's interesting from like a stylistic choice standpoint to put a star that is not filled on your track title in text, and then the star later is filled in text, but it makes a pain in the ass to type it.
Yeah, I didn't type it. I just typed parentheses star. So,
well, I googled it and I copied and pasted it from somewhere that had it, so I do have the star. But yeah, Doki Doki Morning. It starts with some very like poppy synth and like vocoded singing for the intro kind of thing, and then the metal guitars just break it all and kick into the typical like Babymetal sound that we've come to know at this point. There's less guitar work that goes on during a lot of the vocal sections in this one that kind of pulls focus to the vocals that I kind of enjoy. The chorus for this one also super fucking catchy and poppy, with girls just going ding ding ding. Like it's just like it's very much like J-pop, pop idol kind of stuff, and it's catchy as hell, and I love it. There's also this like breakdown kind of thing that happens. They like to do these weird like musical breaks throughout this album, and this one it has like this kind of distorted, choppy vocals of them singing the chorus over just the drum machine before the final chorus. It's just cool, like little way to distance yourself before the big final push.
Yeah, like I definitely appreciate the different flavors that they throw into each song. Just it's I don't know. It's like I said earlier, it's not the one note thing that you hear in a lot of lesser metal.
A lot of Dream Theater.
For real, like that is the definition. Everybody fucking out there saying that Mike Portnoy is a better drummer. Dude. Somebody told me. No, no, okay.
We're not going to get into a Dream Theater drum fight.
Yeah, because Neil Peart's better. Neil Peart, I guess, is how you pronounce it.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, for sure. Fucking greatest drummer. And I'm just gonna leave that there and go back to this, where earlier you had said something about like comparing this to Poppy and how it was less industrial. I agree. This song though, the synths in the background of the more metal sections give it an industrial feel. And I like it. I like that throwing in there. I'm not a huge fan of industrial, but I like just enough to make me feel like they're guiding me through a factory, and then I'm gonna quickly leave. But just those few moments.
But you also really like Hella.
Well, Hella, they're different. Zach Hill is also a better drummer than Mike Portnoy. So
that's another. You're just poking fires today. I love it.
Well, you know what? I've been the master of cold takes this entire.
It's true.
I've been like Deli Ham over here with my cold cuts, and now I'm just gonna fucking
Deli
poke
Ham.
the bear.
That's your new name on the podcast, is Deli Ham.
It's gonna be, once I'm done with Chagu's sideburns, that's gonna be my new Discord tag.
Fucking Chagu sideburns every time gets me. Lyrically, Doki Doki Morning, this is one of them that I kind of thought had a surface level, and then there might be a deeper level to it. On the surface, it just seems like it's kind of like waking up early because you got teenage girl shit to do and you don't have time to sleep in, so fucking get the fuck up and let's go have a good ass day doing girl shit. But I feel like there might be more of like a music industry core to this song, because one of the verses she sings says, no makeup, my glasses serve as hairpins, it's a funny face, but wait 3 seconds, I finish changing, it's super quick. Today's rap music will be that, this, that, which, wait, watch, what time is it now? And to me, that seemed like it could be taken as a jab at like how quickly popular music is shifting and how audiences are fickle and how difficult it is to keep up with trends and stay relevant. She doesn't even have time to really prepare for today's music because it changes and the day's already gone, kind of a thing.
See, I got that as well. And this is definitely one where I feel like there's a surface level and then an under level.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the under level was to do with particularly kind of their part in the music industry as younger children, where like the references to makeup, it seemed like were being put forth as something that more grown women do, but they don't want it, but they're kind of they have to be done up or whatever for their concert. Like they have to kind of put on that face and make the appearances and everything, which I don't know, maybe they're referencing makeup because I mean little girls like to put on makeup, and I don't know, I guess it's fun. I've never put on makeup, but I'm sure it's fun. Maybe I will. Maybe for our first video podcast I'll get all fucking dolled up.
We're both gonna be in pretty dresses.
Hell yeah.
Dude, we're gonna cosplay as 2 of the 3 girls in Babymetal for our first episode.
Better start growing my hair out.
We'll just get you a wig. It'll be fine.
It's probably better. My hair fucking froze out whenever I try to grow it long.
Or, if you can't afford a wig, just go beg your dad for it.
Yeah, and also speak in Japanese because then it'd be Onedari Daisakusen.
Yeah.
Is that
works for me, so I don't have to say it.
People who speak Japanese, how badly did I butcher that?
Yeah, leave us a comment berating us for our translations and our readings of Japanese. But yeah, it means Operation Beg Dad for it, which is kind of a funny name for thing. This is where I learned today that there's a subset of Babymetal that is Yui and Moa, so the younger 2 that don't get a lot of vocal time. They have their own band within the band called Black Babymetal.
What?
That's what they're credited as. They're credited as Black Babymetal for like doing the songwriting on songs that they do. And this one, like, I really enjoy the music for this one. For one, it has more of like a new metal feel to it.
Yeah.
And Yui and Moa are kind of like rapping the lyrics, so it's kind of like this rap rock new metal thing, which obviously isn't super popular, but it's still super synthy and groovy. And musically, I think it might be one of my favorite tracks on the album. And this is where I also kind of got into like I called out Black Babymetal specifically because there's like some through line, like some storyline that like Yui and Moa Metal got kidnapped and transformed into rappers, which is why this is kind of like a more rap song instead of the normal like Su Metal, like very powerful poppy vocal kind of things going on. So it's just the younger 2 just kind of rapping around and having fun, but there's like some lore to it that I didn't fully dive into.
Do you think that's why it follows Doki Doki Morning? And there was the section about like what's rap or something like.
Yeah, I kind of picked up on that. I wasn't really sure how it connected, but there's definitely a potential for it being like foreshadowing in Doki Doki Morning. I'm like, hey, like rap music, it's coming up, get ready for it, kind of a thing. But yeah, it's a fun song to kind of just like bob your head to and really feel the beat. There's a build up in it that has the 2 girls going 1 for the money, 2 for the money, 3 for the money, money, which is funny. Yeah, and then there's this bouncy ass breakdown that comes right after it with some DJ scratching, and it just, I don't know, it feels wild and fun, and it's Yui and Moa having younger girl fun with the vocals and the music and stuff.
Yeah, the money part definitely got me. As a man who has a daughter who is eventually going to be that age, I was like, it just made me laugh. Because then I'll be like, I'm fucking poor. Like, what
you're getting nothing out of me.
You can't get anything out of me. You can't get fucking blood from a stone.
Exactly. Well, unless it's a bloodstone. But
yeah, I guess that's true.
Well,
but
that's neither here nor there. Yeah, the song's Operation Beg Dad for it because the lyrics are about the girls swindling their father out of his money and trying to get him to like give in and give them more shiny gifts and stuff. The alternate layer to this one may be a bit too deep, it seemed like maybe there's this mature subcontext of it about being about women with sugar daddies, and there's also some weird like teasing of like the Electra complex, which is the opposite of like an Oedipus complex, where they mention that the girls want to marry their fathers, kind of a thing, as like, hey, like that's how we get him. We're just gonna marry him someday, and he's gonna keep fucking giving us stuff. So I didn't really know where to go with it, but it felt like there were some weird things, which it again could just be lost in translation.
I assumed it had to have been, but I don't know. I don't like. I mean, people writing these songs are of a completely different culture
Yeah,
than what I live in. So
yeah,
like,
it could just be that like you kind of like, I guess the American equivalent of it is that like you grow up to date your mother, kind of a
yeah,
thing. And that's not meaning literally dating your mother, but like
but
you'll tend to find somebody that like resembles her because, again, as like Carl Jung and like Freud would say, like you just you want to be with your mom, but you can't, so you got the next best thing is some girl that resembles her or acts like her, kind of a thing.
joke's on you, Carl Jung. I didn't do that.
Or did you? And you're
I
just in
don't.
denial.
Maybe I am. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go look long and hard at my life.
Go look long and hard at your lady and see how much she resembles your mother.
This, yeah, I don't know. Like I read about the married their dad thing and was kind of just like I'm not gonna touch that.
Yeah, I thought about not touching it, but then I was like curious, and so I was reading the notes that they had about it, and I don't know, maybe I just went too far.
I don't think you did, but if we could just step it back about 3 songs, we'd be at song 4. Then that definitely
Nice,
wouldn't be too far.
fucking nailed it. Track number 8 is For No Uta. Uta? I don't know. It's song 4
Yeah,
in
and not
Japanese.
like, and it's track 8, unlike Blur's song 2, which is actually
Track
the
2.
second song on
Yeah.
the album.
I kind of wonder if this was like intended to be the fourth, or maybe it's the fourth of their, because this is another Black Babymetal song. This
Yeah,
one was written by Yue and Moa. So I kind of wonder if this was like their fourth song, maybe writing together, or if it's just a song about the number 4. It kind of is, but also 4 has kind of a bigger context for Asian cultures,
yeah,
because it sounds like the word for death in a lot of like Chinese and other subcultures
yeah.
of Asia.
It's a lot of Asian countries. This is a song that I knew the correlation before I read the lyrics.
Yeah.
Or at least, like, I mean, I couldn't read the Japanese and be like, yes, I see what this is saying. But, like, I knew of this phenomenon
Right.
before.
It's pretty well known, at least
Yeah.
over here.
Because I'm smart. I know things. They don't have 4th floors on some buildings, just like we don't have 13th floors on some buildings, which fucking blows. Why?
Yeah, it's dumb.
You still have a 4th floor.
Superstition, man.
It's just called the 5th floor, or it's called the 14th
yeah,
floor.
but you don't have to say 4. See, the Japanese one makes sense, because the word for 4, or I guess not in Japan specifically, because yawn is the word in Japan, but in Chinese and other Asian, she, which sounds like the word for death, so you don't want to be saying like, oh, take me to the death floor, kind of a thing. But 13 we don't have that. There's nothing that 13 sounds like other than other numbers that end in teen, perhaps.
It sounds kind of like 30 if you say it in a weird way.
30, 13, yeah, whatever. Like, anyways, pretty like it's standard Babymetal at this point. It's Black Babymetal, so it's got kind of the younger vocals to it. Mostly unremarkable song at this point in the album, except the breakup / change up in this one brings in a fucking like reggae hook. And they're just singing they're singing yawn, which is Japanese for 4. They're going 4 4 4 4 4. It's weird as hell. And again, it's another one of those moments on this album that is like, it's super entertaining. It just catches you off guard completely. It's not what you're expecting to hear, and then it just goes right back into the metal.
And it does that several times. It's not like it just does it once too, like the other ones where it's like there's the breakdown that's like the different. It keeps going back and forth like 3 times, I think, and I like it. I like reggae. I like metal, and
this is neither reggae nor metal, but also both.
Yeah, at the same time, I gotta say, I was not expecting almost anything that I heard on this album.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. It was intended to kind of surprise you. but lyrically it's pretty childish. I didn't get a lot of another layer to this one. It just seemed like a song about counting up numbers, but they do hang around the number 4, and they're related to all sorts of shit, just kind of playing off that superstition of the avoidance of the number 4 in a lot of Asian subcultures and stuff.
Yeah, there were a couple lines where it was like 4 is not like, it doesn't mean to die, or 4 doesn't mean something.
Yeah,
and
it means happiness, it means joy, it means whatever.
But yeah, other than that, it does kind of seem like a counting song. Which
I mean, again, they're young. I don't know if I could justify an American 12-year-old writing a song that's counting, because it seems way more infantile to me. But maybe I don't have a kid, so I don't know. Maybe I've lost perspective.
I mean, I gotta say, like, that's something my daughter, she's 5, but like,
she's 5 fucking years old. That's insane,
dude. It is insane. Like, god damn. I don't know if I'm old, or I mean, I'm not. I know I'm not old. There's plenty of fucking people who are in their late 30s with 5-year-olds, but
yeah, it's just wild. Anyways, yeah, that's that song.
And the next song is the one with the filled-in star, Ukiyouki Midnight.
Hell yeah, Ukiyouki.
Is that how you say it? Because I feel like
no idea.
I feel like I'm just like saying the name of a villain in a Crash Bandicoot game.
Yeah. Aku Aku.
There's Aku Aku and Uka Uka.
Uka Uka.
Which one of them's the good? I think Aku Aku is the good one, and Uka Uka is the bad one.
Fucking fine. I don't
Nice.
know, man.
That was perfect. This one, dude, is a fucking dubstep song.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And during that dubstep break that they do, it has the melody for Twinkle Twinkle Little Star playing. And it's just like, it's weird, it's funny, and it's just like, well, this is Babymetal, I guess, at this point. Because I mean, it does still have some like metal aspects to it. It's not just a dubstep song. It's a Babymetal song that has a dubstep drop in it. And there's a lot lot less of the standard like metal music in this one, but there's still elements of it there. And then again, before the last chorus, they kind of do like a stripped down like build up for the chorus, but they do it well, so I'm not really complaining.
Yeah, I'm not complaining either, because it took me right back to 2008 whenever they hit that drop.
Yeah, it's very like early trendy American dubstep.
Which, I mean, like, this album came out in Japan in 2014, but it sounds like it was in production for at least like a year and a half before that. Yeah. So, I mean, it's semi of the times then. I think Skrillex was still throwing out Bangarang around like 2011 or something.
When did Recess come out? Because I feel like Recess was like 2013-ish, right?
It might have been. I thought I was in high school, but
Recess was 2014.
Oh,
so
shit.
Released the same year. And Recess was, I feel like by that point, Skrillex was not doing that kind of dubstep.
Yeah, I don't think he was. I think the last one was Scary Monsters and Nice Sprite. Or what is that? Is that what it was called?
Yeah, that sounds right. I don't know. I never really got into Skrillex, to be honest, which is weird because anybody who knows me, I am a dubstep fan. I do listen to a lot of dubstep music, but not that kind of dubstep.
Oh, come on, not the big dub.
I don't know. It's just like that whole era. Like, it's kind of like me in like specifically not liking 90s R&B pop music.
Yeah,
the kind of a similar thing going on with like early like 2010s dubstep kind of a thing.
I mean, it was essentially just the whole song you're waiting for the drop is kind of, and once you heard one, it was kind of like, okay.
Especially with Skrillex. And this is my complaint. I'm stepping up on a soapbox now.
Do it.
We're so off track, but like fucking, especially in early Skrillex stuff, he had like 3 sounds, and I get it, an artist needs to have some sort of signature, but I feel like every single one of his songs just used those 3 sounds and slightly changed from song to song. Like all of his drops, they all had that kind of like that was his growly thing that he had.
And then
like,
that thing.
Yeah, it all sounded the fucking same to me. I was like, yeah, okay, I've heard it. I don't need to keep hearing this over and over again. Stepping off my soapbox now.
Good. I'm sure you just redeemed our show with all of the actual dubstep fans who are like, I've liked dubstep since it was jungle beats in the 90s.
Yeah, when it was big in Britain, you know.
Yeah, back whenever people were making it with tin pans behind the fucking local
Or I just came off as super
Sainsbury's.
pretentious, but I already do that anyway sometimes, so fuck it.
Well, pretentious people are smart, so you're smart, right?
I don't know if that's necessarily. I think pretentious people want to be perceived as smart without actually being. I don't know. Ukiyouki Midnight. The song kind of blends Ine and Doki Doki Morning, and it's like a song that's just about getting yourself pumped up after the sun goes down and having a great night partying at a club, maybe with some friends and stuff, which very similar to the themes in those other songs.
Hanging out, just run around the town, like fucking yelling to your friends, "Catch me if you can!" Just run.
Yes, that brings us to track number 10. Catch Me If You Can. This is my favorite song on this album, I think.
Ooh.
I really love the song.
I gotta break it to you. I also really like it. I don't know if it's my favorite, but this one, it's more punk influenced. Like, it's got like a really cool kind of skater punk that you'd hear on like a Tony Hawk soundtrack type feel, but like blended very well, I might add, with their like normal metal sound. And I really like the chorus on this one.
Yeah, it's so fucking good because it like, so the song, like after the guitar, like the punky kind of crunchy guitars come in, it kind of almost hits like an early Slipknot sound because there's like this breakbeat drum loop that's going on, and then the chorus goes like full like drum and bass, kind of like it's insanely energetic and it's super crisp and it's fucking awesome. I love the chorus. The chorus is more like rock per se than metal. The vocals are clean and great, and it just, I don't know, everything about the chorus and everything leading up to the chorus and everything following the chorus is just fucking great. There's so much energy instilled in the song, and I know I complain about that sometimes with albums just having too much energy. So maybe it's like Hell is a different thing, but like I think Soilwork maybe was one of them that I was complaining that it's just like, it feels like there's a whole lot of energy and I don't know what to do with it. This, I don't get that at all. And I don't know if it's just because there's like the electro elements that rationalize it in my mind a little bit more, because again, I do listen to a lot of dubstep and a lot of that stuff is also super energetic, but it's okay with me. So maybe there's just something I have against certain sounding metal or whatever that has too much energy.
Yeah, I kind of got that feeling about like symphonic metal.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, not to keep harping on Dream Theater, but like stuff in that kind of general area, something about the energy to it feels like
it feels too epic, too much of a grand scale.
Yeah, like it should be epic, but you're kind of just like, it feels like the kind of epic that like a 16-year-old who's inventing like a Lord of the Rings fan fiction in his head is like, to him it's the most epic shit. Like he's up there with Aragorn stabbing Sauron through the face because Frodo couldn't make it to Mount Doom in this version of his universe. And you're just looking at a kid in a cape holding a stick, and you're like,
right,
like it should be cool, but
okay, buddy. you have fun with that, buddy.
But this is not that. This is not that. This is the cool. This is the cool one.
This is the cool and epic energy. Lyrically, I couldn't get much out of this one. It seemed pretty straightforward about being just like the fastest kid when you're playing tag and hide and seek, and just Naruto running away from anyone who thinks they can touch you.
And they can't because you're fucking
too fast.
You're getting that jutsu power. That's Naruto, right?
I don't know. I've not seen any Naruto or paid any attention to it. I just know he does the run.
The only thing I know about Naruto is the run, and there were the people that would like do the hand signal things.
Yeah.
They'd be like practicing that stuff.
Did you practice that stuff?
No, I had no fucking idea what was going on. I remember I saw that I had a friend who was my dad's friend's kid, and he would come over sometimes and we would like play and whatever. And then they moved away. I didn't see him for a couple of years, and he came back and he was totally that guy all of a sudden. Like he had like the headband, and he was like, we were trying to like play video games or whatever with him, and he was just like practicing and shit. And I was just like, man,
this is gonna be a hot take. Perhaps it's not gonna be a hot take. Those kids are weird. Okay. I mean, I'm a weird kid in many ways, or I was a weird kid in many ways. That was not one of the ways that I was weird. And so to me, as a weird kid, to call that weird, that's gotta mean something, right?
Like, I agree with you. And like what you like and do it
Sure,
wholeheartedly.
absolutely.
But I feel like, and this is, maybe it's not cool of me to say this, but like I feel like there's so many people who like do that shit. They're like Naruto running down the hallway at school,
Right.
and like doing the fucking hand signals, acting like that's gonna give them the strength to take down this jock who's bullying them. It's like, you're just making yourself an easy target. Not saying you should be bullied for it or anything. Like, that's totally not okay.
Yeah.
But it's like, you see it and you're just like, you're not doing yourself any favors, man.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's just weird. And again, I've done a lot of weird shit. Like I've definitely like fought with somebody in public at some point.
Yeah.
Then just like had fun with it, because at that point you don't give a fuck. You're not worrying about people judging you, and more power to you if you can do that shit without feeling weird. Like, again,
hell yeah,
do it. But I just feel like it's a different kind of weird, and it's not a weird that I'll ever understand.
It's like a weeby weird, which
fucking weebs.
I don't know. Like,
I mean, here we are talking about Babymetal, so
yeah.
I don't fucking know, man.
Who am I, honestly?
Anime's cool now, Joey. We can't be hating on the weebs.
Let's all go watch JoJo.
Let's not say we didn't.
Wait for Stone Ocean to come out, because that's a thing. Like, I don't know.
I'll pretend to know what that is.
Yeah, totally. And maybe one day I'll watch Cowboy Bebop, because people said it was good.
It is good. I'll let you borrow the Blu-rays. But
hell yeah.
Track number 11, Akumo no Rondo.
Rondo of Nightmare.
No Rondo. Yeah. Nightmare Rondo, Rondo of Nightmare. This one's it's kind of got this like staticky, glitchy metalcore kind of riff at the intro, then it unglitches, and then it brings the heat really early in this track. It's kind of an interesting track because, at least in the first section, it's hard to really nail down the beat, and the vocals feel like they're just kind of like layered on top, and they're just sliding around on top of the music instead of being blended with the music until the chorus comes in. And then there's this like beautiful dark piano, and then everything just kind of comes together at that point and throughout the rest of the song. There's a lot going on in this track that's not like very Western music, I guess, and it's kind of hard to explain it all, but it has a lot of like these operatic and theatrical sounding sections. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I definitely, like, there was electronic influence here, but that was kind of the only framework other than the metal that I had to go off of. But I do feel like there's a focusedness of this one. Like, it kind of stays in the general ballpark of itself.
Yeah.
For most of it. And I feel like it benefits this song specifically, not only because, I mean, it makes it seem like a more cohesive, serious song, I guess, in an album of more like less serious songs.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it needs to be, right, but it shows that they can do it. Like, if there were people listening to the album who even heard a lot of the jokier songs, I guess. Joke's not a great word, I guess.
It's what I've been using, so
it's
I can't slight you for
it. Kind of the more variety driven songs. There we go.
Sure.
But they hear all those, and then they hear this one, and it proves that they can do either one, and they can do it well, I guess.
Yeah, and they do in their future albums. They had an album out last year, the year before last, called Metal Galaxy, and then they've even gotten to the point where they're like, they featured Tim Henson, Scott LePage, they featured Alyssa Whiteglutes from Arch Enemy on vocals and stuff, and like their new stuff is much more serious, at least musically. I haven't translated the lyrics, so I'm sure there's still some of that like childhood wonder in there, but like musically, they've progressed so much from this album. And their third album, Metal Galaxy, is like it's very solid as a metal album.
Well, I like that. I like Polyphia, so anything with Tim Henson on it, I'll listen to it.
They got a lot of cool shit on that. I think they also got a guy from one of the. I can't. I'm not gonna just throw out a band name. They have a dude from one of those like Norwegian kind of Scandinavian like metal bands that like John and Pierce like, kind of a thing.
God, one of those fucking Scandinavian.
I can't get into that kind of stuff either. That like
what? Okay.
That like
what, like Sabaton or like
like
Amon
Sabaton?
Amarth? Okay, because like
Amon Amarth, I'm on the fence with.
I fucking love Amon Amarth, and I will fight you.
I don't know. I think the vocals for Amon Amarth, I can't really get in. At least last time I listened to them, I couldn't really get into it.
Listen to The Dragon's Flight Across the Waves.
It's another side rec we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Remind me after this episode, and I'll
just put it in the music Discord.
There you go. That'll work for me.
And then you'll be an official. Oh wait, yeah, okay,
yeah. I cut you off. We didn't talk about lyrics, but yeah, I think the kind of operatic and theatrical kind of sound to the Nightmare Rondo track, it fits, and the fact that like you called attention to it kind of staying within its own realm and not kind of having gag sections in it, for lack of a better word. It lyrically, she's, at least what I got is, she feels like she's trapped in some sort of like recurring nightmare where like every night the sun sets and she just finds herself running from something, some creature in the darkness that she'll never really see or understand. So it's kind of this dramatic, like suspenseful music to go along with this kind of the cycle of being chased by something.
Yeah, I don't know what rondo means, but I
think it's like a musical term, right, for like a round.
Oh,
where like
okay.
something like you start saying, like someone starts singing and then you join in like a measure later or something, and it makes like a kind of thing. I think that's what it is.
Isn't that like Google, a canon or something?
Here. I don't know. There's probably several terms. Music's weird like that.
Music is weird
rondo
like that.
In music, an instrumental form characterized by the initial statement and subsequent restatement of a particular melody or section. From Britannica.com/art/rondo.
Well, I guess I'll believe Britannica. This one, I didn't know if it was like a demon or something. Like,
yeah, it definitely had that vibe.
Yeah, like this song, it feels about being haunted in your dreams by evil forces,
which is a big thing in Japanese culture.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was like Oni or something.
Yeah,
like
they have a lot of that shit, which is cool as shit. I'm jealous because Americans
the river
don't
monster.
Have that. I mean, I guess we have local legends like Mothman and stuff, but
the Jersey Devil.
Yeah, it's not nearly as cool, I think, as Japanese spirits and Onis and stuff.
Yeah, we need history, but we don't have history because we've only been a country for like 300 years or some shit.
So we steal all of ours from other people.
Yeah,
and claim it as our own
because we're fucking awful.
Track number 12 is Headbanger.
I was gonna make a thing going back. I was gonna be like,
started to, and then
started.
We went back, and then I didn't know if we'd come back. It's Headbanger.
Yeah, it's
but
fine.
With a bunch of extra letters in it.
Yeah, like there's 5 E's, 5 R's, and 5 exclamation points. And it starts out with a harpsichord. And that's pretty cool. I like harpsichord. I like that sound. But it hits kind of into this more pop rock intro after the quick harpsichord to bring it in. I mean, it brings the harpsichord back. But it this one, it felt more poppy to me, I guess.
Yeah, it definitely is. There's, especially the vocals feel a lot more prominent, and I like that because, again, I love pop vocals for some reason, especially female pop vocals, so I'm all about it. It does, there's some interesting like through lines though, even when the harpsichord's not playing and some of that like other early intro section stuff fades out, some of the guitars actually mimic the melodies and stuff to kind of keep that theming going through it, even if it's not on the same instrument, which I thought was kind of fun.
Yeah, I guess maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm tying too many things together, but like they tie tours together with stories. It seems like potentially there was the Doki Doki morning tie through for the rap into Black Babymetal in Onodari Daisakusen. And was that bad that I just did? I don't know. I wasn't making fun of the language. I just literally cannot speak it, and I'm making a joke about myself. How about that?
I didn't think anything of it.
I did, because I analyze everything that I do all the time.
Yeah,
private or public, and this is in that in between line of both, because it is public, but it's so.
If you're offended by Joey, leave us a comment, and also maybe send us a subpoena or something. I don't know.
And also maybe like and subscribe.
And also maybe that, because we'll give you some maybe less offensive stuff in the future.
I don't know. but they seem to like to make through lines, is the point I was getting. Like, it seems like everything has its place, and it all works. Yeah, like it all works together, which I really like in albums. I like stories. I like sitting down, you telling me a tale, taking me to a different place that I have not been before. And
you're the kid with the stick, pretending to be Bilbo or whatever.
Bilbo. Fucking Bilbo, dude.
Bilbo Swaggins.
Oh god, I want to be Bilbo Swaggins. I want to be so bad. I want to be 111, just fucking living it up.
Well, he was less than 111 at some point. He went on his own adventures, and he got Sting, right?
I mean,
that was his thing. That's the
but,
Bilbo I was thinking of. I wasn't thinking of old man retired Bilbo.
Well, I just watched all the Lord of the Rings movies like a few days ago, so that's the
fucking nerd.
We started to watch The Hobbit, and then it was like these movies aren't as good.
But yeah, I still like them. We need to
get
through this. We're over time by a bit here, but lyrically, this one is the one we kind of teased earlier. Sounds like she's just kind of celebrating her 15th birthday at a concert and rocking the fuck out. Also, there's maybe potential wordplay between the Japanese words for 15 and strawberry. I didn't really look too far into it, but apparently the words sound similar as well. So there may be some other layer there that I didn't have time to research because Joey messaged me saying that he was ready to record before I had my notes finished because I procrastinated way too much.
And then I wasn't.
And then he wasn't, and we started later than expected. But that's all I have to say about that track.
And you know what I have to say about that track? No. It's followed by track number 13, Ijume, Dame, and Setai.
Flawless. Absolutely flawless. That might be the best one we've had ever in the history of the show. It's logical, it's sound, and it worked.
It's almost like I was just moving on numerically and stating that with no.
I'm absolutely not going to bully you about it because that's the English translation is absolutely no bullying.
Which is it's a very apt song, I guess, topic considering.
Yeah, it would have been great if the song came after we were talking about making fun of Naruto kids.
Yeah, so because
say that we shouldn't tolerate that kind of bullying, but
because I've been reflecting on what I said a few minutes ago, and it wasn't cool. Just because you're acting like a fucking weeb doesn't mean you should get bullied.
Absolutely. This one, though, this track 13, the final track of the evening, starts with some lovely like ballady piano and Sue just kind of like vocally riffing over it, and then this fast like ripping thrash guitar riff comes in and the energy is just right back up there. It's crazy. The synth kind of comes in and mirrors that thrash guitar and it gives it a nice texture. There's a wailing guitar solo for the intro that leads right into the song, and it's beautiful. Just the amount of intensity it picks up and how quickly it goes from kind of the slow ballady piano to this like ripping guitar piece is great.
Yeah. I definitely like the first solo because that first solo, it's like a dual synth and guitar solo where they're like kind of backing each other up, and it just, I don't know, it hits a part of my soul that I didn't know existed or needed hitting. The
robot part.
Yeah. The robot part of my soul, which is probably all title. Of it. Yeah.
The robot part of my soul.
It's the robot rock that rocks my robot soul.
There you go. Daft Punk reference. Go listen to Daft Punk, people.
You like my references, people out there? I know other things exist.
I know things. I know music. That's why we're talking about it. But yeah, and then there's this like kind of dramatic monologue later in the song where the energy kind of changes. This is also the longest song on the album. Not by a terrible amount, but it's one of like 3 longer songs, I think, on the album. But then the piano ballad kind of comes back, and then it goes right back into the fun melodic guitar solos for the ending of it. Lyrically, it's kind of in the title. It's just a song about like bullying and how sometimes watching someone get bullied and not doing anything about it also kind of hurts them. And she's kind of talking about how like, I'll protect you, like we're gonna go somewhere else, we're gonna move past this bullying and we're gonna get through it, which is another young teenage girl thing.
Yeah, I definitely like just everything about this song, because even at the start where it's called in English like absolutely no bullying, whenever I say that as an English speaking person to an English speaking audience, if I say that, it sounds like I'm like absolutely no bullying, like no person who's like, but it just, I like the intensity of them saying it.
Yeah,
because I don't know, they made a whole fucking song about it, and it's just like, they're just very clear, in no circumstances is bullying okay, and you need to fucking stop if you are a bully, and they will protect. Like, it's just so anti-bullying.
It's very wholesome.
Yeah, like it's it's just without a hint of irony, and it's great.
Yeah,
and
just like those Naruto kids that do it without a hint of irony. They're in it.
You know what? You guys should bully me for being such an asshole to those people.
No, you shouldn't. Absolutely no bullying, Joey.
That's true.
It's not even cool to bully in retaliation.
Or in pre-retaliation. Because I haven't bullied anybody, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. I've definitely bullied people, for sure.
I've never bullied anybody.
That's kind of. I also kind of maybe this was projection, or maybe this was me misreading, or maybe it kind of got lost in translation. It seemed at some points she was talking as if she was the bully in the past, and so maybe part of it was also her like putting that behind her and saying, okay, like I know I fucked up, getting it out there and saying, okay, what I did was wrong. I know that. Let's move past it together, kind of a thing. Because she says like goodbye to yesterday's myself, which I mean could be the one that was hurt, and she's like ready to put the hurt in the past, but also maybe that she was the one being naughty.
Man, those bullies.
Them bullies.
But at least she learned, if that is the universe that she's going back to.
Hell yeah, because bullying, no, absolutely not. Not happening.
So one thing we didn't bully today was the album, because it's a good album, right?
Accurate and nice segue to nothing other than the end of this episode ish, the ending section of this episode.
Because you said we needed to stop because we're way over time, right?
Yeah, we're like 15 minutes over, but
nobody's gonna listen to this. It's too long. Nobody's gonna listen.
As soon as we pass that 59-minute mark, people click away, man. People are okay with the first 59 minutes, but any longer, they're gone.
If people see over an hour, they don't even click.
That's true.
That's the problem.
I know I don't, unless it's something that I'm looking for.
Unless it's something I actually want to listen to.
Exactly. But yeah, lyrically, this whole album's kind of a lot about like just young girl things that I don't exactly relate to. But there's also a lot of cool like themes to it. And again, bullying's bad. Okay. But I'll be damned if this like the performances on this album, the melodies, everything, it's just an overall super entertaining album for me. And this one, especially in the context of their discography, is very much like the fun album, I think, to me, if not like, if I'm not going to say it's a good album kind of thing, it's at the very least, it is an entertaining album, but I also really like it.
Well, I also really like it, and I think it's entertaining, and that's awesome, and I'm glad I listened to it.
Well, I'm glad that we'll be listening to something else next week.
Well, you know what? You know what we're going to be listening to?
I do.
Oh yeah, I told you. I forgot. but so the album is called Jesu.
Jesu.
Jesu. Is that how you pronounce it? Did you do more research on this album than I did?
I did briefly when you stepped away. I was like, I want to look into this.
Well, it's called Jesu apparently, and that is the name of both the artist and the album.
Another self-titled back to back.
This one, I don't have too much experience with. I found it whenever I was listening to a lot of like Deaf Heaven and that type of music, and it was just there.
That excites me because I'm a fan of Deaf Heaven.
Yeah, I listened to it.
And I also looked at their Wikipedia, which is why I know it's pronounced Jesu. But Wikipedia's genre descriptions were like shoegazing and electronic rock and stuff like that. I'm like, yes, I'm down. I'm ready for it. So now I'm excited for this album. If it sucks, I'm never going to forgive you.
Well, that's fine because there's already like 50 things that you're never forgiving me for anyway. So.
Do you have a list running? Because I don't. I've forgotten anything that I've not forgiven you for.
The top 49 spots are hella, and the last one is Two-Man Gentleman Band.
It's just always on your mind, the fact that I hated those albums. You'll never forgive yourself. I've forgiven you, Joey.
Well, that's good.
I've made some bad wrecks, too.
Have you, though?
I have.
Well, that's all, folks.
Stay in our feedback loop.
Bye.